Hi folks, welcome to or welcome back to Exposed. If I'm welcoming you back and you like what you see, I'd really love it if you'd subscribe, and everyone else, you can keep commenting. I'm loving answering all the comments and do all the likey things. Apologies to Mr. Penelope. I'm really sorry that my antics woke you up in the middle of the night, and I hope you had a good day at work. And Bonnie, I've pinned your comment. Bonnie said that her husband asked her to wait to watch the videos of the strange lady. And I just wanted to say, Lardy, if you're listening, this is proof. You keep saying, go and tell your husbands what you're doing. They know. You've never had a proper marriage, so you don't understand how our husbands support us. And if we're watching something, they're like, what you watching, love? And we tell them. Sometimes they want to watch too. Other times they just want updates. And other of them are sitting in a corner with their fingers in their ears saying, please, can you turn her off? So I'm doing this video because a few people have asked about the video with Berk. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it was a video where Berk lost his rag. It was recorded and then she took it down 3 seconds later because that's what she does. But I do have access to it and I've thought long and hard about it, and I really don't want to put it up on this channel because Berk didn't ask for any of this. So I'll talk you through what it was and why it was. As most of us here know, Laurie is a narcissist. She'll never admit that because she doesn't realise that she is. Excuse me. But she is. So, she was doing her usual, gaslighting her son when he was sick and upset him. He was going to Boston for some of the summer holidays or all of the summer holidays, and she started, oh, you do know Grammy won't be there to pick you up, she's not reliable, blah de blah de blah. Drove him mad to the point where he was screaming at her. And I understand this totally. My mother used to do this to me all the time. And I will tell you a story. I met my father for the first time when I was 19. And a year later, I think it was, or a couple of years later, he was playing in a jazz festival in Cork in Ireland. So we were going over on holiday and we were going to the festival, and we met him one night and he said, come tomorrow and I'll introduce you to the kids, because he had 4 children from his marriage. And he said, it's about time everyone knew about you and we got to meet each other and what have you. So the next day I was due to go and meet him, and my mother was with me. And at this point, see, I was totally under her thumb, as is Berk, totally brainwashed, because she's my mother and I think she's doing what's best for me, even though I thought she hated me for being an illegitimate only child looking like the man that walked out on her. But anywho, so she said, oh, first can we just go to blah blah, I want to go here, I want to go there, we need to buy this, we need to do that. By which time it was too late for me to go and meet them. And I said to her, you're doing this deliberately, aren't you? And she's like, what do you want to meet them for? Why do you want to go and see them? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I just looked at her and I said, you know your brothers and sisters. I'd like to know mine. But the jealousy and the insecurity, or whatever it was in her, didn't want me to go, wanted to fuck it up. And that's basically what Lardy was doing. She didn't want Berk to go to Grammys for the summer. She didn't want him having a relationship with her mother that she wasn't having. And she wanted to put a spanner in the works. So he's sick. He's nervous about travelling. It's the night before he's due to go. And she's like, Grammy this, Grammy that. Da, 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 da. And then she starts crying because he starts shouting. I'm just sat here. I'm not doing anything. I'm all right. I'll be quiet. I'll be quiet. I know it. I know the antics. I know what she's doing to him. Then she goes out in the car blubbering. Oh, guys, I don't know what to do. I'm being bullied nightly by my son. I need some help. No, what you need to do is stop fucking enraging and gaslighting your child, is what you need to do. All you had to do was say, I hope you have a lovely time. But no, you had to fucking annoy him and put a spanner in the works, upset the lad. What she was hoping for, right? Because people will say, well, what was the outcome? She wanted him to say, well, fuck it then, I won't go. That's exactly what she wanted. Oh, well, if she's not going to come and pick me up and I'm going to be stranded at the airport and you won't pay for an Uber, what am I supposed to do? Oh, all right, okay, I won't go then. It was vicious. It was evil. She's probably done it to him time in, time out, because my mother did it to me. Berk, when he gets upset, he shouts. A lot of teenage boys fucking do. I know my son did. They shout when they're annoyed. I shout when I'm annoyed. But when my mum wound me up, I used to cry. I used to get so angry I'd cry. And then she'd be like, oh, here we go, turning on the waterworks, trying to make it all about me. I did something bad. That's exactly what Lardy's doing. Help me, my son's bullying me. No, your son isn't bullying you. You're a narcissist and you were being a twat to him. So I'm praying for the day. See, and Berk came out with a line once in Arizona. Oh, they're probably people that work on a cashier in a checkout or whatever. Yeah, he shouldn't have said that. But I think that's a line he's heard her saying over and over again. So he just used it because she's brought him up that way. I'm praying for the day that his friends get through to him or someone else gets through to him and makes him realise who and what his mother is, and he goes no contact and gets on with his life and becomes a famous actor if that's what he wants to do. Because otherwise she will drain anything that's good out of him. I bought my mum a phone and an answering machine. I didn't have a phone in my flat. We had a pay phone downstairs. I was 3 floors up, and usually the people downstairs would answer the pay phone and then ring the doorbell of whoever it was for, which was really kind of them, and then I'd have to go down 4 flights of stairs to get the phone. So I got fed up doing this after a while, and I got a phone put in, and I had it had an inbuilt answering machine, and it was one of those walk around phone things. When I went to Butlins, I packed up my whole flat, and one of my aunts by marriage had a loft, and she said she'd store my stuff. When I eventually got my stuff back, my mum had been using my phone. She'd been wearing my clothes, and she'd lost a load of my jewellery, fucking about, mooching around in my case for my stuff. Berk started a channel doing shorts. What's Lardy now doing? She couldn't just leave him have that thing to himself. Plus she had to get a fizzog in on one of them. And because he's a good kid, he went along with it. Any other mother would say, no, it's okay, you do that with your friends, that's your thing. No, he's not allowed to have anything that's just his, because it's theirs. But everything that's hers is hers. I don't really know what else to say apart from the fact that I did think long and hard. I'd spent a long time debating over this, and what it came down to in the end was, 1, it wasn't Berk's fault, 2, he didn't ask for that to be put out on the internet, and 3, I wouldn't like someone to do that with a tape of my son. Which shows Lardy has no fucking boundaries at all, because she goes in deep on my children whenever she can to make fun of them or call them whatever she feels like calling them. But see, I'm a class above, Lardy. I'm not dragging your son into this because he doesn't deserve to be part of this. And I do pray for the day that he doesn't come home. Not because I want you to suffer, but because I want him to thrive. So if you're listening to this, Berk, which I very much doubt, but if you are, just read up on narcissists and gaslighting, and you will see very clearly what your mother is doing to you. And she'll never stop because she doesn't know how to. So the only way that you will ever progress and live a good life is to get away from her. There's no other choice. I didn't do it until my son was 4, maybe. No, he was a bit older than that. Oh no, that was another time. Right, my mum's thing was, if she felt slighted by somebody, she wouldn't talk to them. And they'd ring her up, and she'd have her answering machine on that I bought her. So why she needed to use mine is another thing, but it was hers, wasn't it? She'd sit in the chair beside the phone and the answering machine, listening to them talking to the answering machine and laughing, and wouldn't pick up. So she decided that she had the hump with me, so she wasn't talking to me. So my son rang her like he used to do all the time. And I think 3 times or whatever he left messages on the answering machine, and I knew she was sat there listening to him. And then he walked up to me one day crying, and he said, "Granny doesn't love me anymore." And that was it. That was my trigger. And I was like, no, fuck this. You fucked me up. You're not doing it to my child. So I wrote her a big long letter explaining everything and saying that I'd had enough, but I would be the bigger person and let her have contact with her grandchildren. Nothing. Not a word. 6 months later, she sends me a letter. Well, actually, she sent my son a birthday card, which I ripped up and threw in the bin. You took 6 months to decide. No, I'm sorry. I haven't spoken to her since. She has sent every relation and friend I can think of. Oh, your mum would really love it if you got in contact. Yeah, maybe she would. But I've finally been able to breathe, not fucking flinch every time a phone would ring, and not expect a knock on the door even though she lives hundreds of miles away. She actually did that. Went to a friend we had in Cleethorpes, from London to Cleethorpes, and then got her friend to get on the train with her from Cleethorpes to Yorkshire to come and visit me when she knew that we hadn't been speaking. But she thought she could just turn up at the front door and I'd let her in with open arms. Because that's what they think. And they never apologise. And they're never in the wrong. So, that's all for this video. Thanks for listening if you did. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.